Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and with me is the third-eyed mystic herself, the ever-so-lovely Neima.
Hello, everyone.
Now, before we jump into the main portion of our talk, I wanted to share with everyone some headlines that caught my attention, and I didn't tell Neima what the headlines are. I didn't link her anything. She knows absolutely nothing about them. And that's mostly because I just want to see how she's going to react, just right on the spot. So, Neima, you ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. You've been on a plane, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what was the longest plane trip you've ever taken?
Probably 12 hours.
12 hours. Okay. And what was the weirdest thing you saw on a plane?
The weirdest thing I've seen on a plane. Someone like randomly threw up like all over the chair and on the floor right next to me.
Okay, that's pretty
I mean,
gross.
that wasn't weird,
Yeah,
but it
no,
was just like,
that's that's
it
pretty
was,
gross.
and it was one of those. Yeah, it wasn't like a nice vomit. It was kind of like projectile. Like it was just like
Oh
protruding out
no.
of his. Yeah, it wasn't even like a polite like, "Oh, let me vomit." It was just like, "Brah."
Oh, that sucks.
And it yeah, and it was like dried and clumpy, like it wasn't wet. Like it was really weird.
Well, I am so happy I am not eating. All right, that's pretty gross. And I think these people, well, this isn't gross, but it's definitely weird. February 14th, aboard an Euro Airlines flight from Antalya. Yeah, these names. I know I'm butchering it, so sorry, people in Atala, whatever, Turkey. It was a flight from Turkey to Moscow, and someone took a video of this because they just couldn't believe it. And it was a woman holding a pair of panties overhead to dry under the air vent. Like she
So she was wearing them like over her head
no no no
to
no.
dry her underwear?
She held them up, and you know how they have the little air thing on planes? That the little
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the air vent.
She was holding it up to that over her head, like you just said, to dry them.
Well, what happened? Why were they so wet?
No one knows. I don't think they want to know, but the fact that she was doing that says enough. And apparently
I
she put them on.
Yeah, I need a better backstory. Like,
There is no backstory because this is just how random it is. And according to one witness, they told Russian media that other passengers were watching the woman as she held the underwear over her head for about 20 minutes. No one confronted her or complained to the flight crew.
yeah, I mean, they're clean, right? Like maybe she cleaned them in the bathroom and was like, "Oh, I should probably dry them."
I have no idea, but that is pretty bizarre. It's like, really, lady? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
What would you do if you saw that? You don't have to be next to the person, but you're like a row over and you just turn your head and you see this.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And I'd be trying to think of every possibility of why she could be doing this.
So now we're going to another headline happened very recently on a plane. Now, as I'm sure you know, since you've been on a 12-hour flight, you know it could get a little stuffy
Hmm.
in there, and then
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
sometimes you might be seated next to someone you really don't want to sit next to. Has that happened to you?
No, I think they don't want to be sitting next to me.
Really?
Just
What,
kidding.
do you give them the death glare?
I just make everything so much more awkward. Like I'm not comfortable, so I just make things awkward.
Oh, give me an example of this. I'm curious now.
I don't know.
Oh
It's
no.
just like I look like it's I just make the situation uncomfortable because I'm uncomfortable sitting that close to people. So it's just really weird.
That's not
I
something you
don't
should
know.
tell me because I will intentionally get someone one day just like, hey, you see that chick there? Sit next to her. Don't say nothing. Don't do anything.
Yeah.
Just sit next to her. Take out a book and just sit next to her. And you'll never know.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff really creeps me out.
Okay.
Especially, yeah, like I was telling you, I think I was telling you, like at Walmart, when people get way too fucking close, like it's just really weird. They
Uh,
just don't give me my space.
all right. Well, if you were on this flight, it would get much worse. So, apparently, this plane had to make an emergency landing because someone was farting so badly, it started a fight.
No,
I
that
kid
is so epic.
I kid you not. Um, it was
Is there a video of this?
there's no video of that one. On a flight from Dubai to Amsterdam, the plane had to make an emergency landing in Vienna after a fight broke out because one of the passengers wouldn't stop farting. The pilots who decided to make an emergency stop in Vienna removed the complainants, but they didn't kick off the guy farting. He was still on the plane.
What?
Yes.
Oh my god. So is the guy who tried to start a fight with him that they kicked off the plane?
Yeah, they kicked off two guys who was just ready to beat the mess out of him
Yeah.
because, according to witnesses, they asked him, like, please, man, just stop or go in the bathroom. You're killing us. You're killing everyone. Just stop it. And
Hmm.
the guy told them no, he could do whatever he wants with his anus. And he continued to fart, and they just had it.
Wow, that is so fucking rude, though. That's
Yeah.
so rude.
So, along with the two guys who were kicked off, were actually two women who were kicked off, but they claimed that they were just sitting in the same row as the men involved and they didn't do anything but try to hold their breath. And the women,
Hmm.
yeah, the women believe that it was a bit of racism involved because they are of Dutch and Moroccan ancestry. And because they were kicked off for no reason, they are now suing the Dutch budget airline. So, an airline could lose a few $1 million because of a guy farting. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Wow. Well, I'm just glad the guy that's farting isn't getting any money.
No, he's not getting jack squat. No. But
Yeah.
could you imagine? So, you already don't like sitting next to people, and you're sitting next to the most disgusting person in the world who won't stop farting, and it's so bad, it's covering the entire plane. And it's no air in there to begin with. What do you do?
Oh my God. I just wait for that seatbelt light to go off so I can just like roam,
And
just
just
stand and
get out of
stare at
Dodge?
the luggage or something. Act like I'm getting something out of my carry-on.
Now, the other thing,
Go sit in the bathroom and read a book. I don't know.
the other thing that made it worse was the guys complained to the crew about it, or the flight attendants, and they didn't do anything. They were just like, whatever, deal with it. We have to. So, but
Well, yeah. I mean, what are they gonna do? They can't, you
perhaps
know,
move him
that
or tell him just
Febreze.
go
I don't
into the
know.
bathroom. So, all
Right. Hmm.
right. So
Yeah. Can you quarantine someone on an airplane?
you can actually, the air marshal can anyway. It,
Oh.
kinda. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but um, another question for you: would you ever sue anyone?
No.
Really? You're that kind, huh?
I think, yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. I've just never been to the point where it's like, oh, give me money for my misery. I don't know.
Okay. Wow, darn. I thought for sure you were going to say yes, and that totally knocked me off balance, but I'm about to recover here. Okay, so you wouldn't sue anyone, which is fine. That's cool. But this woman
Hmm.
named Claudia Ackley is suing the state of California. And can you guess why she is suing the state of California?
Cause of Bigfoot.
Oh, you know this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know this one. Claudia Ackley is a woman who claimed to have seen Bigfoot in Lake Arrowhead, California. And she was so sure of what she saw, she's actually suing the state of California for not acknowledging and therefore not protecting the Bigfoot species. So let me say this again. The state of California is being sued because a woman claims to have seen Bigfoot.
How are you supposed to protect what you can't see?
I don't know.
Just like running in circles. Like, I got you. I got you.
I mean, I don't even know what
But
she's suing for. I very much doubt this goes anywhere, but this one, that one got me. I was laughing so hard when I read that. So, but you already knew about it, so
yeah, I made a tweet about it. I was like, can you imagine the identity crisis Bigfoot is going through? like, like, what am I?
like
Why is
serious.
this girl fighting so hard?
Speaking of Bigfoot, not too long ago, a video surfaced saying that they caught the legendary man ape on camera. And this is the most recent sighting of him that's actually on camera. And I saw it, and I was thinking about talking about it and in case you missed it, but I don't know. It just doesn't, you can't tell anything. I mean, it could quite
Oh,
literally,
it's not.
yeah, you could quite literally be someone who's a bit big and in a hairy suit or something, so you can't really tell. But still interesting. And speaking of some of our other little videos on the channel, you just did your first thing away from the podcast, which was 5 real life superheroes. How did you like that?
That was fun. I didn't think I was going to do that good, but that was cool.
Yeah, see, I told you you'd be fine. She's over here. You know, guys, she actually cursed me out.
What?
Yep, she cursed me out
I
while
did
doing that.
not. I was just, I was putting it in the air. I wasn't like directing it towards anyone.
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
I'm
saying
totally
fucking.
joking.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever said one mean thing about me.
You should do like a blooper video of me just like fuck,
I
fucking
think I am
fuck.
gonna do that. Like I have enough for it, so I I think I might, because there's one of me just butchering your name. So let's have some fun with you now. That was pretty awesome that you did that, and I'm happy you did. And you see, it was easier than you thought. All right, but that's enough of that. Let's get on to the main topic, which is going to literally melt my brains. I can already feel it oozing out of my ears now. Oh, look, there it goes. Little dribbles. So, hopefully, it'll regenerate. I doubt it,
Little
though.
dribbles.
Yeah,
What
little
happened?
dribbles of my brain fluid and stuff oozing out of my ears. It's just dripping out and it's dribbling. Just bloop, bloop, bloop.
Oh come on, you'll be fine.
Morality, consciousness, realities, different dimensions, parallel universe, whatever you want to call it. What the heck are these? You know, that's a loaded
Yeah,
question.
what are they, Melvin? Explain it. Explain all of it now.
I can't. And I think that is actually one of the best answers I can give because it's always going to be different depending on the person. For instance, morality could be considered a distinction between right and wrong and good and bad behavior, but everyone has different morals. And what is right and what is wrong? I mean, if we really dig into it, there's no such thing. That's just something that we as humans created to keep people in line. I mean, who's to say? Like, what are the immediate consequences for killing someone? Did you have a reason to kill them? Yeah. So, does that mean that killing is still bad or is it good? I mean, it's nothing. You took a life, you should feel bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean the action is bad. Yeah. Does that make me
True.
yeah, does that make me sound like a future serial killer?
No, but you have a point because in different cultures, certain things are different. And, what is war? We're killing innocent people. Like,
Yeah, and that's
is that morally right? Just because we don't like a president or we don't like someone?
or worse, we're just trying to get oil and money. With morality, you know, what is right, what is wrong? I mean, a lot of these moral guidelines, and that's exactly what they are. They're guidelines and not actual rules or laws we place just so we don't run amok. I mean, that's the only explanation I can really have when it comes to morality.
Yeah, kind of like guidelines that are acceptable to most of the population.
Yeah. And the funny thing is I'm going to go into a little bit of the religious thing here because they a lot of religious people they love to flaunt that how morally just they are and all this, and from my experiences they turn out to be some of the biggest scumbags I can come across, and they are so quick to say, oh, God wanted it this way, and that's like are you kidding me? Like, and I love bringing this up to people who are extremely religious. I like to say your God is supposed to be loving and just and all this mess. Can you explain the Crusades, please?
Hmm.
you know, and then they love doing it like this. They love saying, well, Allah and Islam is a violent religion all around, and they have no morals and stuff like that. And then I'm like, okay, that's fine and dandy, but you do realize it's the same God as Christian God, right? Jewish God, Christian God, the same.
Right.
You know? So are you?
Yeah, it all stems from the same
Yeah, by
root over here.
proxy, I mean you're saying Christianity or Judaism, whatever it is you believe, it's just as bad, which it is. I mean, Christianity is pretty violent if you look at its history. So where are your morals there?
Yeah.
And I don't understand how in Catholicism you can do some pretty gnarly stuff and all you have to do is pray 50 times and you're forgiven? The heck?
Hmm. Yeah. Religion is just a way for people to feel better about all the terrible shit they do.
Yeah, no, it seems like it. Or it's a way to control
And
people. Either or.
yeah, I think I think it makes people feel more powerful if they already feel, powerless.
Yeah.
If they have a God to get behind or a belief to be behind and think is right.
Yeah, but to anyone who might be religious or believe in something, I'm not trying to give you a bad time or anything like that. These are just my
I am.
opinions
I'm
and
just kidding.
and Niema's opinions. But is your God morally just by I guess you could say turning his back on those who are also in need, but they have their own beliefs and ideals? Is that morally right? Is it morally right that followers of his went out and wiped out people who didn't convert or didn't believe? Is that morally right? So again, it goes back to what is morality? I mean, it's something that doesn't exist. I mean, shoot, even a higher
Ooh,
power doesn't follow it.
true, true.
So you can shut me up at any time, Neema. If you see me fastly
Nope.
approaching that line, please stop me.
Wait, what line?
Uh oh, I'm over the
I'm
line, man. I'm
just
done.
kidding.
So, have you ever been into like something where your morals were in question, where it's like, I know this is wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway, or I know this is wrong and I'm not going to do it, even though it will benefit me in a major way?
Yeah, I think when I was younger and growing up, definitely. But I don't know. It's just kind of blurred now. Like you said, morals are kind of just um,
They're just
blurred. I
guidelines.
mean, you're trying to be kind to people, but you know.
Yeah, and then if you are a morally just person, I use air quotes for that, you have to deal with your consciousness. And it's two types of consciousness: awareness conscious, and of course your guilty conscience. And the guilty conscience is often represented by the angel and the demon on your shoulder, and what's right and what's wrong. And again, it goes back to the whole morality thing. Now, with your conscience, do you think that's your actual self saying this is wrong, or like you should feel bad, or is that something that's instilled in you because of society?
Hmm. I think partly society and also people's like energy. Does that make sense?
You have to explain that one.
Like if you're in, so if you're, so say you got in trouble with your parents and your parents are like, you know, they're sending you the energy that you should feel guilty or you should feel bad for it. So automatically you do. Does that
Uh,
make sense?
okay, I see now. Yes, that does make sense. But then you come up to this dilemma. You have a family, you have no job, you've been trying to get one, family's hungry, so and this is a classic example, of course. You steal some bread. You know it's wrong, but you're doing it for the right reasons. But again, it's wrong. So, do you actually steal the bread, or do you just let your family go hungry? And if you do steal the bread, will you have a guilty conscience over it, even though you're doing the right thing? Or is it the wrong thing?
I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't feel bad.
Like, I don't feel bad. I'm swiping it. Great, you're a klepto.
I'm trying to, no, I'm not stealing for no reason. I'm trying to feed my family, yo.
Yeah, but the guilty conscience is an interesting thing, and I wonder though, has it always been there? I don't think it has. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's come because of evolution and partially society. I mean, if we're out in the wild and you're trying to live, man, you better believe I will tackle a gazelle and bite its neck. It's, that would look awfully funny. But oh well, and then you, Nima, I guess you just eat some grass. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I need to just go pick some berries.
Yeah. So me, I have to work for my food. God. Honestly though, like let's think about that. Do you think like back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean more so when people were one with nature, do you think they had that guilty conscience weighing over them? Or is this something that is
No.
fairly new?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it evolved over time because it's being taught shame, being taught guilt and shame.
Is that a sign of an advanced society? Huh, I wonder. That's something to think about. We might have to
I don't
go into
know.
that on another show. But enough
Hmm.
of that consciousness. Let's get into the juicy one. The one of awareness and being aware of an external object within oneself. And this is something that, Neema, I know you get because your conscience is aware and awake. Wouldn't you say?
Um, yeah, I'm aware that I'm here.
Yeah, but are you really here?
Are you asking me if I'm a dualist or like a materialist?
No, I'm just asking if you're really here.
Did you read about that?
You tell me about that one.
Yes. I mean, I would hope so. I kind of created, right? I'm creating this reality, so I'm manifesting whatever's going on. Wow, I'm going to start tripping right now.
No, go ahead and trip out. Let's hear this.
No, right? Cuz I mean, if it's true, you create everything around you in your experience. So this is your reality. This is what's going on in your head.
Now, saying that though, let's okay, now let's start tripping.
Dig a little deeper.
Well, no, no, no. What if that, you are doing that? What if everything, like myself, I'm just a figment of your imagination, and from a young age, you put everything in motion for, well, to get to where we are now,
Right. I think about that literally all the time. I just
and
think, wow, like these people that came into my life, they're just here because I made them be here because it's in my little storyline. I don't know.
yeah, well, no, 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 because, but then, what about people who are their own individual people, who create their own realities? Are you saying that perhaps you share realities with folks?
Right. That's the good question.
With your conscience and your awareness, like, when did it hit you? Like, when did you just know where it's like, whoa, like, look at this. Like, I can actually do this. There's something in me that's drawing what I need to me.
You go first. You answer that.
Oh, well, I can't answer it because I don't think I'm actually quite aware. I talk about a lot of stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't necessarily mean that I get all of it and I'm aware of all of it. I talk about it and I try to understand it, but for me, I don't think I'm there.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know
Hmm.
you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Right, because I mean, if you say you're aware, then that doesn't necessarily mean that you know everything and understand everything, does it?
No, it doesn't, but I don't look at things deep enough to try and
Mm.
understand. Sometimes, and this is one of my biggest issues, I look at things on the surface, and if it doesn't pique my interest or if it has of no use to me, I just ignore it. I'm like, whatever, and move on. And
Hmm.
that's one of the worst things I think you can do in life, actually, is just look at things on the surface and then just kind of blow it off. I have a major issue with that, but I'm working on it.
Well, I mean, it just has to interest you. So that makes sense. I do the same thing.
Whereas, like, I look at I read your weird tweets and stuff, and I'm always like, what is this girl on about? I still like them, but I'm still like, what are you on about? And, compared to your average person, you see something in this world or experience something or understand something that others just don't. Or you're just messing with everyone's minds to get a laugh at it. Maybe a mix of both.
I think yeah, it's definitely a mix of both.
Like I said, I think you see the world differently than your average person.
Hmm.
All right. Now,
Question for you though.
oh yeah, ask away.
Okay. So, do you believe in the mind, body, and spirit? Or do you just believe that, um, I think they call it the materialistic consciousness view, where it's just your brain and your brain is your mind and it's all neurological activity and that's about it? There's no outside control.
No, I don't believe in that. That's for sure. I guess I'm more on the mind, body, and spirit. But saying that, I look at things as this is just the body is just a physical shell, and this it's housing the spirit for whatever reason. Maybe we'll know in the next life, if there even is a next life, what the reason for us in this 3D plane, what we're doing here. But yeah, I believe the body houses the spirit, and the mind, of course, gathers all this information to relay it and everything, but we're just so limited by the physical body and our perception on things, and we can't, for whatever reason, see beyond. But I think it's more than just a material thing, and what you see is what you get and all that stuff. Does that answer your
Mm-hmm.
question?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think if it was, I was trying to decide because I don't like deciding on specific beliefs on if they're real or not. But I had to sit down and be like, I guess I do believe in a spirit or a soul because if I didn't, then, it'd kind of be, everything would just be really pointless. Or, what's just the point of existence if there's nothing, if your consciousness ends as right when you die and your memories don't at least go on, or an essence of you doesn't go on, it's kind of just really boring. It just makes it really boring.
Yeah, that's the other thing with the conscious. What happens to it when we do pass? I'm a believer in an afterlife, kinda, not in the terms of how other people might see it. I don't think there's a heaven with pearly gates or anything like that. I don't think it's quite like that, but I do believe in an afterlife. But why is it that some people aren't able to actually move on from this physical world? Why are their souls still trapped here? Like, why is their consciousness still trapped here?
Are you talking about in a purgatory aspect, like their soul is trapped here? Is that what you were saying?
Oh, not even in that type of way. I mean, because
Oh.
I'm not a believer in purgatory either, but it just seems like sometimes there are spirits or ghosts, however you want to call them, that seem to be stuck here, and they're aware that they're here, but they for whatever reason don't move on, don't want to move on, or they can't move on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's more of a like a frequency thing.
Ah, so
Because I think like people are around you all the time and they're just like you can't see them because you're in, of course, your own little shindig.
yeah,
But yeah, I think they just vibrate like really low and then they just don't want to move on to a different realm of existence, or they just don't want to grow up in a way
yeah,
spiritually.
yeah. Maybe they're afraid.
No doubt.
Oh, you know what? This just hit me. So we were supposed to do a giveaway in January, some books, but
Oh.
someone forgot the name of the books.
Oh, I found it again. I lost it and then I found it again. We're back on track.
So in March we'll do the giveaway then.
But I want to know what kind of books our listeners are interested in, because I just went to this amazing book sale in Arizona and I stocked up on so many new age spiritual books and like astrology and like philosophy and all types of stuff. So I would love to send some of that out to our listeners if they have like if they could give me like a topic or something.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so we'll make a little
Yeah,
video or something asking about that.
for sure.
So, but okay, I'm glad we're back on track because I forgot for a minute and I straight up said, like, man, there was something we were supposed to do and it was semi big. What was it? And it's like, oh yeah, because she forgot the name of the books. So,
Jeez. God.
all right, whatever. We have it set now. Boy, we're dysfunctional. Now, since we're talking about consciousness and moving on, oh, this is gonna get super confusing. You move on to, or at least I believe you move on to a different reality, so to speak. And a reality can be how something actually exists and not how they appear or imagine. For instance, I imagine that there is a reality where superheroes exist and uh, people get punched through walls all the time and they live and walk around. That's an imagination, you know. It's like whatever. But in this reality, that does not exist. What actually exists are people who have no superpowers, and if you get punched through a wall, I don't know how that would happen, but you're not living. But that's not suffice to say that there couldn't be a reality that the way physics works as we know it doesn't work there. It's totally different. It's a long shot that it's like that, but it's, you know, a very slim possibilities because then we start thinking about parallel universes and dimensions and all that stuff. But for right now, we'll just say what is reality, and the reality that we're living in currently, is this actually real, or is it a matrix like thing? Like, do we even truly exist, or are we a computer program or something?
I'm right there with you. I ask myself this all the time.
I mean, because have you heard of the Mandela Effect?
I think I'm that name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure on the definition. Go ahead.
Okay, so most people know the name because they think of President Mandela, the Nelson Mandela, excuse me, President Nelson Mandela, or former President Nelson Mandela of South Africa. And I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the effect that, for whatever reason, is named after him. The Mandela effect is the observed phenomenon of people having clear memories of events that did not occur or misremembering significant events and facts. So, one of the best examples of the Mandela effect actually goes to Star Wars and I Love Lucy. And with Star Wars, everyone, oh man, this is like a super major spoiler if you've never seen episode 5. So I guess if you haven't seen Star Wars episode 5, go somewhere. That simple. That's the best way to
Go
put it.
somewhere without your headphones.
Yeah. So in Star Wars, in the episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke's confronting Vader and he gets his hand cut off and he's hanging on, Vader says,
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
"No, you're wrong. He told me. He told me you killed him."
No,
And that's when it goes to,
Luke, I am your father.
and it's like, whoa, what? But in actuality, that's not the quote. That's not true at all. Vader never said, "Luke, I am your father." Vader said, "No, I am your father." And for some reason, people, and myself included, remember it as Luke, I am your father, even though he never said that. What the heck? Now,
Wow.
for I Love Lucy, have you watched I Love Lucy?
Yeah, I used to watch that
Yeah,
all the time.
it is my mom's favorite show. Uh, I have to get her like the super collection one day, but she's the biggest Lucy buff. So I pretty much know my stuff about it because of her. And one of the most famous lines in there, and Ricky would come in after Lucy messes something up and, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, never happened. Never once said that in any
What?
episode of I Love Lucy.
What the hell?
The Mandela Effect.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is, so many people remember it. They're so sure of it. And it's like, where did this come from? Like, he had to have said it. And it's so nuts because even TV shows have the Mandela Effect happen. Um, for instance, Mad TV, they were doing a parody of I Love Lucy, and they even said in the parody, Lucy, you've got some splaining to do. But Ricky never once said that.
Oh, this hurts my head. This is scary.
So,
I feel like the whole world is a lie now.
well, no, it could be. It really could be. And one of the theories is that somehow in a parallel universe or another reality, it's bleeding over into this one in our minds and we're remembering something that occurred elsewhere.
Whoa.
And there
What?
and no. The crazier thing is there are videos that show planes that appear to just stop in real time before they continue flying. Like somehow they just pause, stop, like they're not moving at all.
Yeah.
The Mandela effect. It's believed that for whatever reason, like reality breaks or something for that split moment.
It's a glitch in the system.
Exactly. So what I'm going with is perhaps this reality we live in isn't what we really think it is. Perhaps what we're witnessing isn't the real reality. It's some type of overlay that's blinding us for what's truly reality. So what we think we know, we don't know.
I'm so scared right now. I don't know why I'm scared. I'm just like mixed emotions here. I don't know what to feel. I don't know what to think. That is so crazy.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you thought for sure with Lucy, going back to her, that it was Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Like, it had to have been, right? No.
Yeah, like I can picture the guy just mouthing it. Like I can see him saying it. Like that's freaking weird. I'm tripping out, man.
Another one that's kind of interesting is from Queens, We Are the Champions. And
Mm-hmm.
this one actually got me because I listen to this song regularly. Well, not regularly, but enough. And We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the champions. No time for losers because we are the champions. How does it end?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know how it ends?
Uh, no. We are the champions of the world, blah blah blah. I don't
Wrong.
know.
It does not end with of the world. It just ends.
What?
Yep, no time for losers because we are the champions.
What?
There is no of the world.
No. My world isn't real.
I and
Nothing is real.
you know, and I like you. I could have sworn I've heard of the world. Most people have. They said like, no, man, he's saying of the world. Like, why would it just end on "We are the champions"? End.
Damn, that's crazy. You just blew my mind.
So, I mean, what do you.
Where do you go from there? Like, what do you do? What is life now?
That's what I'm getting at with reality. What reality are we in?
Yeah, how many realities are there?
I think it's infinite, and this is where we're getting ready to go. Oh, boy.
God damn it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this one. Oh, I'm happy I wrote this down. In Snow White, what did the evil queen say to the magic mirror?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Right?
Have you ever done that? You know, you have your mirror and you say that?
No, I'm not that conceited yet.
Uh-oh. Yet, keyword.
Not there yet.
And wait, say that quote again though.
What she says?
Yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Yep. Okay. So, you got them both wrong. She actually says, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Yes, it's not mirror mirror. I know it sounds like it's just real simple and stuff, but I mean, that's pretty significant because you're
My
so
grammar is
sure.
flawed.
No, it's
Yeah.
you're just so sure it's mirror mirror. I mean, they even have a movie called Mirror Mirror. Like,
Wow.
isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Oh, and Jiffy peanut butter does not exist. It's just Jif. And I do know people who call it Jiffy. I don't like peanut
What?
butter, but it's just Jif. It's not Jiffy.
Wow.
And
Lies.
but anyway, you asked how many realities are there, and I have no clue because we have to look at it like this. Perhaps a new reality is being created every day if we go back into awareness and consciousness, and what you think or want or believe, if you have that energy, you put it out there and you create something new. So perhaps we're creating new realities every freaking day and we don't even realize it. And in its own little dimensional bubble, it grows and expands and it becomes parallel to us. I don't know. I mean, so then throw in
In that
time.
regard, do you think all. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
In that regard, do you think every scary movie and every like sci-fi movie actually exists somewhere?
Uh, no. I don't. Well, it exists in someone's head,
I
yes,
think so.
but I don't think it's exactly like that. I mean, that would be
But
terrifying.
it's so detailed.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they're so detailed though. Like,
well, you never know because it's possible that there are realities like that and maybe we're not anywhere
mm,
near it, but somehow the consciousness goes there when we sleep or something. For instance, H.P. Lovecraft. Oh man, if you love horror, you got to read H.P. Lovecraft. He's the Godfather. All of
nope, don't
his
like horror, but
all of his works are based off of terrible nightmares he had. And we're talking very detailed stuff. And it's like, what the heck? And he makes it seem so real. So perhaps when we dream, which funny enough, I actually don't dream for some reason. Like, I think I've had two or three dreams in my life, and I don't remember any of them. Well, I remember one, but um,
you do dream, you just don't remember.
well, I, well, I don't know what's wrong with my memory. But what if our soul is actually going to a different reality? You know, what if we are legit going to different dimensions in our sleep and we're seeing things and and we're there but in a type of ghostly form. non what do they call it? I guess ethereal. Is it called ethereal?
I think so. I think you got that right. Ethel? Hmm.
Yeah, well, okay. Anyway, some type of ghostly form. Like, what if the ghosts we see aren't ghosts at all, and they're actually people dreaming, but somehow they're not from this reality, but another reality, kind of like demons. And demons just happen to be aware that they're dreaming and in this reality, or maybe they're not dreaming, but somehow they figured out how to project themselves between dimensions. And they like messing with people because they can get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because when you go on one of your trips, like, does it feel like sometimes you're elsewhere?
What do you mean, like psychedelic trips?
Yeah, one of the psychedelic trips.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I like especially on DMT, I feel like I go up in vibrations. So I'm just like going up, 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 up. Like you have to change your breathing and everything almost. It's really strange.
Yeah, and it's like, what is happening? Is something there? So you never know. Perhaps movies and stuff, they might not be exactly like how they're portrayed, but yeah, there could be a reality that has some crazy monsters attached to it or whatever.
Yeah, because I feel like some novelists are so detailed and very creative with their books that it's like, okay, this has to be real in some other dimension or some other reality because it's too spot on.
And then here's the thing. Okay,
So
so
detailed.
this is going back to us perhaps not seeing the actual reality we live in, and it's layered. So think of it like a well, think of it like being in an elevator. Oh, I probably should have set this headline. I might edit this one in. I don't know. But I just remembered it said that Chinese tourists are the absolute worst tourists. Like, this has been pretty much established for years, and I don't disagree with them. Does that make me racist? Probably. I don't care. Uh, but this was some instant karma justice. A Chinese kid was in an elevator, and this dirty son of a monkey's uncle decided to pee in the elevator. And it's pretty disgusting because, I mean, he didn't even pee in a corner at the very least. Still disgusting, but I guess it's like point one courtesy. This guy whips it out and he's peeing all over the elevator and he pees on the panel. But
Okay.
when he does that, the panel sparks and it short circuits and it kills the elevator, and he was trapped inside in his own urine for a couple of hours, and
Karma.
it was nothing he can do, and it was all on camera.
Wow. What a dick.
Yeah. So that was awesome. That made me feel good. I don't like stuff like that, but hopefully he learned the lesson. I doubt it. But anyway, back to the reality.
I
So,
know, like how long do you keep him in there for, like so he learns his lesson? It's like
oh,
timeout. Like
oh, I would have left him in
I
there
wouldn't
for a
even want to
long
get
time.
him.
Yeah, no, I would be like, no, you gotta
Yeah.
stay in there for about 10 hours. And then, you know what we'll do? We'll slightly open the door and throw him like a little Nutrigrain bar and some cleaning material so he could clean everything. Oh no, the fumes, they're burning my eyes. Oh well, you'll live. So,
More what you eat.
okay, so anyway, what I was going to say before, my mind sidetracked was think of us like in an elevator and we're on the bottom floor. So we don't know what's at the very top, but we do know all the floors look similar, but yet there are differences. Some subtle, some more than others. And every time we go up a floor, think of that like entering a new reality. And it's like, what the heck? Hey, this wasn't here on the other one. So perhaps in the reality we're in right now, maybe it's on the bottom floor and there's another reality on top of us. And sometimes things from that reality just happens to blend in, although it shouldn't.
Hmm.
And it just, the higher you go up the elevator, the less of the fake realities you see, and it's like, okay, so who knows, maybe this reality is all about learning about oneself before moving on to the next.
Right. So at the top floor is the most awakened self or
Perhaps
reality.
perhaps maybe you're there where you can finally see the truth of the matters, where it's nothing in your way, it's no obstacles, you see everything the way it should be, while here we don't, and we're blindsided by a lot of material things and our selfish needs and things of that nature. So we don't actually see the reality that we live in may not be all that real.
Hmm. Do you think selfishness is morally wrong?
No, I think that's just human nature
Mm.
because it's almost like an instinct. You have to be selfish to survive.
Hmm.
You only have $20, but there's this guy over here who's starving and hungry, and if you give him your $20, then you're not going to be able to eat anything, and you don't know when you're going to get another $20. So it's
So okay. So at the top of so say you're at the top floor, is instincts um an object?
you're going to have to explain that for me. What do you mean by an
Right,
object?
if you're on the top floor of yeah, if you're on the top floor of awareness and like awakeness, do you think primal instincts is a part of that?
Yeah, I think so
Hmm.
because it's a part of us, isn't it? And
Yeah.
you can't turn off your instincts, not fully. Of course, they can evolve over time, but I think we have to
Oh, so
accept.
they would be different instincts.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to be what we started at. I mean, again, look at human evolution from a few millennia ago to now. I mean, I don't know how true this is, but if a caveman wanted to mate, he'll go and whack a chick over the head and drag her back to the cave. And it's like, yeah.
Oh my god.
So, because those instincts kicked in, like, all right, it's time to get it on and make some babies. Now we're a bit more civilized with it. And there's a process, and you don't want to whack someone over the head to get it on. That's not good on so many different levels. Or who knows, maybe it is good. I don't know. That could be the morality coming into play. So, oh man, if someone gets whacked over the head because of this, I am so sorry. I hope that,
I hope not.
yeah. And then now I'm gonna feel guilty, and there's of course the guilty conscience. Like, you caused this, so great.
I did it because Melvin said it.
Yeah, so, I'm just saying that over time things evolve, so why wouldn't instincts evolve?
Right.
So, even though they are a part of us, I think we understand them better, and sometimes it's not even instincts, it's just like us trying to get something because that's what we want, but we mistake it for something else.
Hmm.
Like, is it instincts for every guy not to stop for directions when get lost? I don't know. I know I don't ask for freaking direct. Like, I'll figure it out. I'm like, oh, Nima,
Really? Are you stubborn? Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm
You're a
stubborn.
Taurus for sure.
Yeah, but no, you never want to ever go anywhere with me because I will get lost and I won't stop for directions. I'll figure it out. Like, I'm looking at the sun
Oh
here.
my god.
Okay, so the sun's here. I know
Oh
this is west.
no. No, no, no.
It'll be terrible. You would
I know
like,
where I'm going.
yeah, you'd hate me so much, and like, yeah, there. I know that death glare would come.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Instincts are interesting, and I think they play a part, but they also evolve over time. Yeah, my head is starting to go now. It's like, so, but no, just to add more confusion into it, you know, what if, hypothetically, time travel is real, and then if something changes in the past, we'll never know about it because time technically cannot actually change. What happens is it splits and a new timeline is created and the old one isn't erased, it continues on. And the person who traveled back in time, if they go back to the present, either present, it doesn't matter which one, it could be the new one or the old one, he will be the only person to ever know something was different.
God.
And because of this new timeline is created, there is now a new parallel dimension, so to speak, and it's running right alongside of the side of us, and it's to the point to where just subtle differences can have a major impact. Like, I'll give this as an example. Let's say someone goes back in time, and it goes back to a school, and you're there, and you're about to go to the girls' bathroom, but instead
Right?
they hit you in the head with a basketball or something, and you pee on yourself. And that one event,
Okay. That makes
cha-
sense.
that one event changes your entire life. You're now being made fun of. They call you uh, Neima pee pee pants or something, whatever little kids do, and you lose your confidence. Like, it's like confidence gone. You don't like school. You don't want to be anywhere near people. You become isolated, and because of that, you don't develop your outgoing personality or your interesting thoughts. It doesn't catch my attention. Like, we'd never meet. I wouldn't know you exist. You wouldn't know I exist. And like, this show right now doesn't happen, or perhaps it happens but with someone else while you're all the way elsewhere. You could be inventing everlasting gobstopper, like Willy Wonka or something like that, and the person who went back in time, if they come back to the present and they run into you and they talk to you, of course you won't know who they are. And if they mention about you in this present, you'd look at them like they're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I remember the incident when I got hit in the head with a ball and I peed on my pants. Worst time of my life.
And now I design pea cups for a living,
Yeah, something like that. Like, it's crazy how one thing can change everything, but we would never know about it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I am wondering though if the soul somehow splits off, or, well, no, this would go back to the consciousness. If it's a shared consciousness, or once we make it to the end of our lives, if the consciousness from different dimensions, if it all becomes one, and we get like super knowledge at that moment or something.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, so you'd pass away and then all of a sudden you're just like upgrade, like a massive download.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all an experience. It's all for knowledge and learning. And I told this to someone the other day. A demon said something about humans are so stupid because we don't understand how it's possible to be in several places at once. And it does because it's consciously aware. What if that's what it meant? That it's aware of itself in all these different dimensions and is able to I guess you could say go there like consciously. It knows all of them and we don't because we're just so limited because we think of things in one reality, one physical place. So once we shed the physical body and we get to that spiritual part of us or whatever you want to call it, that's when the consciousness, our consciousness from all these other realities or dimensions hit us and it's like, oh, I understand it. And then you're going to call yourself an idiot because it's like, wow, this was so simple.
Yeah, seriously.
I
Why did
hope,
I have to go through that if I already know everything?
yeah, I hope I'm not being too confusing here.
No, I'm following you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just so many possibilities, endless possibilities at that.
Mm.
Because again, if time travel exists, then that means we've done it many times over, and we'll never know what was changed. We don't know if this is the original timeline or not. It probably isn't if time travel exists, and we'll never know what it is. And that's a layer of reality that's created.
Hmm. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty nutsy. So, and you know what? It is time for us to end too. So, Neima, go ahead and drop a Neimaism.
Believing you have to be normal is what holds you back from being you.
And with that said, thank you all for tuning in and listening to us ramble on about some really hard to talk about stuff. I enjoyed it. Neima, I hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, that was a very interesting topic. I'm glad we did that.
And you guys, be sure to check out Unexplained Possibilities 5 Real Life Superheroes are Too Crazy to Believe, and In Case You Missed It. Also, don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook and Twitter. Those links can be found in the description below, along with links to Yap with Neima on Twitter, her website, and her Facebook. So, with that said, remember guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye everybody.